Hello guys, welcome back to this channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you the difference between supply and demand and resistance and support. I know a lot of you have had this confused over time, but I believe by the end of this video you're going to get the difference between resistance and support and demand and supply. Alright guys, so in the chart I'm going to be showing you the major difference between supply and demand and also support and resistance. So when we say a level is a region of support on the charts, let me open a plain chart so that you can see and you gain more understanding. Alright, so when we say a region is a place of resistance in the MT5 charts, we are talking about a particular price point where price may have tested 1 or 2 or 3 or many more times and it has been rejected off that particular location. For instance, where my horizontal line currently stays is a resistance point because price has tested it 3 times. If you can see, price has tested it around here on the highlighted part here. Price tested it here again, and then tested it here. So see, the 3 times price tested that region, price was not able to break it, so we can call this whole region a resistance line. So even going into the future, we could see price test it again in this place. Price also tested it around here, but yet price couldn't break it, so we could call that place a resistance zone. So a resistance zone most especially means a previous zone that has sent price downwards, and anytime price approaches that same region, it sends price downwards again and again and again. Same thing with a support, like you can see clearly here. This is a support region. This has sent price upward. The support region is a region that sends price to the upside when price taps into it. So we see price tapping into this region on the Monday and it sent price upward. On the Thursday, price came around this area and then it sent price upwards. On the Friday, price came back around the same area and it sent price upward. So a support region is a region that price tests, after testing it goes back, or a region that stops price from falling further downwards. So to see how many times price tested this area and then it's rejected back to the upside. Now here comes the big question: what is the major difference between supply and resistance, or the difference between support and demand? Now here's the big difference. Resistance could be previous zones that price has tested and can keep testing, but supply is a fresh zone that price has not tested before, and upon testing that zone it may retest it just once and then continue. So supply is the untested zone, the zone that price has not tested before, or a region that price has not tested most recently, and price is most likely going to test it again before breaking out of that place. Same thing for demand. Say for instance, let me highlight the zone for you. Say for instance, this zone before the retest, could go down to the smaller time frame to see that zone highlighted clearly. Okay, now we can see it. Price came to this region, this place that I highlighted, and after a while, after a period of consolidation, price left it. You can see the impulse move to the downside. So we can call this region a fresh supply zone, and we be expecting price to come back to this supply zone afterwards. Now we can see a few minutes later, price came back to retest the supply zone and left. Immediately price left this supply zone, we didn't see it come back. The next time it came to retest it, it bounced off it and left, so it didn't respect the supply zone. So most times supply zones hold just once, unlike resistance zones that can hold on and on and on. Supply zone are regions in price after a brief consolidation, and price leaves that region in a hurry. We expect price to do kind of a mitigation or a retest, as you may call it, back to that region. So supply is a fresh zone that price returns to, while resistance is an old reference point where price always gets to and is rejected from. The same thing with demand zones versus support. Support is anywhere in price. You could see a big support somewhere down in price where price always comes to and price rejects from it. Look at one here. You can see this region on Wednesday the 8th, 10:15. We saw price come to this region and then we bounce off it. And then back in this region on Thursday 9:15 or about 9:30, price came off this region and then bounced off it. So we're not here to teach you how support can turn to resistance. You can also see previously on the Tuesday, price came to this region and bounced off it. So you can see how this support zone has supported price 3 times in a row. So we can call this a support zone. Unlike a demand zone is where price quickly leaves and then it is untapped and then price comes back to it after a period of time. So I'll show you just one example of a demand zone and we'll be done with this video. Alright, so we can see a demand zone somewhere around here where price quickly leaves after a brief period of consolidation. Somewhere around here, price leaves after a period of consolidation in this highlighted rectangular region. Price leaves after a period of consolidation, so we call this a demand zone, and then price comes back to retest it and then left. So we can assume that this other right side part of the chart did not exist at this point. Then we can call this a supply zone because it has not been tapped. But once it is tapped, it's no longer a supply zone. Once it is tapped, although at some point supply zones could be tested on and on again, like we could see here. Price came here and rejected, then price also came here and rejected. But then a supply zone or a demand zone can be exhausted. Once price mitigates it once, twice and thrice, then it's over. Unlike support and resistance zones. And now another difference between the both of them is that demand zones can be a large portion in price, unlike support and resistance regions that can just be a particular price point. I'll take it again. Demand and supply zones can be a large portion in price. It could be what you call your order blocks. It could be what you call any kind of block at all. But it could be a large portion in price, not just a particular price point. A large portion in price where price has not returned to and we expect to return to it, and then after the mitigation we expect price to continue in that direction. Unlike the support and the resistance, just like the example I highlighted here, we could see that this current supports, right, just like I highlighted in this horizontal line, we could see that price came to this exact price point, 103.003. Price came to this exact spot more than once. But then if we are highlighting it as a supply zone, it's not going to be just a particular price point. It's going to capture this whole region of price after we saw this impulsive move. So supply and demand zones are usually followed with an impulsive move to the opposite direction. For supply, we'll see an impulsive move to the downside. For demand, we'll see an impulsive move to the upside. Unlike support and resistance, you may not see an impulsive move. You could see price testing a particular price point. So here are the 3 basic differences between supply and demand, and also support and resistance. So a brief recap: support and resistance are particular price points that reject price from it, while supply and demand are not particular price points. They could be region in price that sends price away from it. And then secondly, supply and demand are followed by impulsive moves to the opposite direction, while resistance and support may not necessarily be supported by an impulsive move to the opposite direction. Then thirdly, supply and demand may just be mitigated once and then it is invalid. If it's mitigated more than once, there is likelihood that it may break. Unlike support and resistance that can be tested once, twice, 4 times, 5 times, as many times as possible. I hope with these few points you've been able to understand the difference between supply and demand, and also resistance and support. If you like this video and you want more content like this, click on the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified when we release videos like this. Don't forget to click on the like button and share with your friends if you found this helpful. Cheers and remain blessed.